Yo! Welcome to another episode of Under the Surface, a talk show where we talk all things Bazaar. Today we are partaking in my national sport, which is complaining. We are going to present a couple of items that we are not particularly fond of, but don't take it personally. If you like those items, we have nothing against it, as this is meant to be more or less light-hearted fun. So, without further ado, let's dive under the surface. As you have probably already guessed, we are going to talk about some items that we are not so fond of in terms of the Bazaar gameplay, and we each prepared 3 examples of items that could do with some touch-ups, I suppose. I guess we could start with the first one. Do you want to do the honors?
Caltrops, the worst item in the game. Is that what you want me to start with?
I suppose so. And to be fair, I would probably I didn't want to go with the easiest option, but when I was looking through the items, I also thought that Caltrops is sort of, I'm not sure, it plays on my nerves a bit.
Yeah, it's like the problem. I was really thinking about it before we started recording this, and you sit here for like 30 minutes and build this engine you think is just beautiful. You got all these items going really fast, and then you hit a Caltrops, and it's like everything you did was working against you that entire run. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like is happening when you play against Caltrops.
Yeah.
Like and it feels really bad, but it's also not a common enough item that you should really be like building around that either. You know what I mean? So it's sort of, you just got unlucky.
On one hand, playing against Caltrops is definitely irritating. This, as you said, invalidates your whole run. So, well, that's maybe too strong of a word, but well, yeah, I guess I want to say invalidates your run. Doesn't really only invalidate the run for the opponent who runs into the Caltrops, but you as a pig player, when you find Caltrops and you have some way to scale them, like it's easy include. It's almost like we had Chrono Barrier in previous patches, which increased the cooldowns of your opponent's items, and you could have fitted it in most of the builds. And right now, Caltrops being extremely good target for enchantments. I mean, if you're running Square Pig, like it's auto include, and if you're not running Square Pig, you should really think about running Caltrops if you encounter one, because if you can get them to do anything, even if it's just giving you a bit of healing or giving you a bit of shielding, like this is a trigger that's going to happen constantly. I like the idea of the design, but at the same time, like there's something wrong there.
Yeah, I think the item needs a total rework, and I don't know what that looks like. Or maybe just minimize it to not be used as an item, but to be used as a weapon or something. I don't know.
I mean,
or maybe a non-weapon item.
But at the same time, like you can either, nerf the damage on that item, and to be fair, it has been like nerfed already. I mean, at gold it's 1 damage and at diamond it's 10, but the moment you can increase its damage and if you can put some enchantments on it, then it gets busted. The floor is rather low, but the ceiling is somewhere in the sky.
I've seen quite a few people too on like Reddit and YouTube and stuff flexing like Caltrop only builds. Like they have nothing else on their board besides Caltrops.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, no item in the game should really be that strong like regularly.
I'm not even sure if just like giving it a B treatment or something that it charges every time an item is used. I mean, it would nerf that quite a lot.
I don't know what to do with the item.
Yeah.
Like, the problem is the item, not the numbers.
Maybe there's some way to counter Caltrops and I'm just too narrow-minded to see it.
I mean, you can counter it by like doing like a single weapon build or something, but
I guess.
Those aren't as common, Like you're normally running a lot of stuff going off quicker. And if their Caltrops is doing like 200 damage and you're shielding for like 150 or something, you just take the L.
Yeah, I guess that's the main reason I don't like the item. There's rarely any skill expression in terms of like putting it in your board. It's purely numbers game. And I guess we've been rambling on about this item for like 5 minutes or more, but like there's a lot packed in this small square item.
Yeah, and I know our viewership hates it. because
Yeah,
I don't
leave a
know.
like
It
if you
just
also hate caltrops.
and leave a comment and say I hate caltrops. Like the only time I've really ever raged at this game is when I went up against the caltrops. You know what I mean? Like that's how it makes me feel. So
I don't
yeah,
rage. I feel sort of like this emptiness inside me. Like yeah, I see caltrops and I check out mentally.
you're making us depressed and angry right now. Get rid of it.
I think that's his favorite pastime, to be fair.
Ugh.
I guess that's the whole point of this video, to just complain for the sport of it. So, yeah, like, don't take it personally. But if I were to choose an item that makes me irrationally angry every time I see it, it's Crystal Bonsai. I have no idea if this is some sort of curse or is there some hidden maths behind the curtain, you know? But every time I get Crystal Bonsai, I always lose my next fight. So every time I see it, every time I get it, I immediately sell it, even if it's just 1 gold. I don't want to see it anywhere near my board. Like, the art is cool, I can admit that, but the effect, I don't know, is this for some sort of gamblers? Like, they want to hit it big? I have no idea.
No. See, I like the gambling aspect, and I don't like this. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I usually just stick it on my board and completely ignore the fact that it loses value, and just keep it as a heal item until something better comes along.
But like, it
You know?
heals for like value of itself. So
Yeah.
essentially it's going to heal for what? Like, I mean, if you can get it to double digits, then you are a god gamer. That's my opinion about this item. Like, if it heals for like 2 or 4, that's the average value for this item, I think.
Yeah, I think it should work more like Langshan or something, where like it doesn't reset, it just doesn't gain the value or something. I don't know. It's just still kind of stupid. Like it doesn't gain enough value. I don't know. It's just a stupid item. I thought about including this on my
Yeah.
least favorite too, because it's just a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean? It's just a heal
Yeah.
proc until something better comes along,
I
and it
mean,
heals you for like 2.
yeah, you are supposed to sort of scale it, but then scaling of this item is sort of like negligible. Like, every time you win a fight, you get a couple of points of value. So like at silver tier, you're going to get like +4. I want to say definitely not more. So I guess yeah, you earned a bit of gold, but you definitely cannot treat it as a long-term investment, because the moment you lose, you lost all of it. If it's cut like top 20-30% when you lose, then maybe I would be more like lenient. But when it resets itself to 0, it's not my jam.
It could be really cool if it had like a higher reward, but still set to 0. Like it can really gain a lot of HP fast, like a lot of healing fast, but because it doesn't even do that. And it's set to 0. So it'd be cool if you could really like scale it hard if you were actually winning, but then as soon as you lose, it's just gone. Could be
Maybe
fun.
maybe instead of gaining I mean, it could probably gain value as well, but maybe like its healing could be tied to every time an item is used, it gets +1, for example, and then when you lose, it loses that heal value, not necessarily the value or like gold value of itself. If I were somewhere near the top of tempo food chain, I would look into Crystal Bonsai. Right now, it's more of a nuisance than actual help, in my opinion.
Yeah, I sort of agree.
What else do you have for me?
I have a little item called Lumbors.
Oh
Which is a
god.
Pygmalion item that, this is one of those items I hate it, not because it's like horrible or anything, but because it's just like it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like it tries to has an 8-second cooldown, it has 2 multicast. It deals a pitiful amount of damage, let's be honest. And every time it goes off, it makes your other weapons gain like 2 at bronze, 4 at silver. So it's really like it does that twice, you know.
Mhm.
That's not doing, at silver 8 damage gained every 8 seconds isn't really that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. It just annoys me because this item is like trying to do like 10 different things and it does nothing. And
right.
it's a pretty
So
common Pygmalion item. So you just end up sticking it on your board and kind of being frustrated with it.
I have two statements for you in regards to Lambos. First of all, this item has already been buffed. It was even worse a couple of patches ago.
Oh my god, how?
It didn't have multicast, if I remember correctly. And the second statement is I would call Lambos like the stupid little brother of Shark Claws, but this time around, their mother was smoking during the pregnancy. Like, that's my
Oh
opinion.
my god. Yeah. I mean, how was this item buffed? I just get butthurt every time I see this item.
Right, and if you have to start your run with Lambos, that's like the biggest feel bad moment, in my opinion. Because, yeah, as you said, 8 seconds, so you have to wait a long time to get an effect, and then you get a bit of damage, and your items get a bit bigger. But if you want to buff your items, why do you use an item that has such a long cooldown? If an average fight takes somewhere around 30 seconds, then those Lambos are going to trigger up to like 3 to 4 times. Shark Claws are much better in that slot, in my opinion. And I understand that those two items are in different hero pools. It's cool that it has multicast. I mean, yeah. But besides that, it's another piece that belongs in the garbage.
Yeah, it just feels like it does nothing. It's just there. I don't even know how you make this item better. Maybe make it focused on having your weapons gain damage and like half the cooldown or something. Change the outputs. I don't know.
It is sort of like sea themed. Like you use oars to propel yourself on a boat, right? But at the same time, like all the aquatic items are for Vanessa, and Pygmalion, if he wants to go with weapons, he definitely doesn't want Lambos anywhere near his board. Like, there are much better weapons for him. Yeah, there's no really any use case for Lambos right now. At least I haven't found one. Another item that I have not yet found a use case for, and I wonder what's your opinion about it, but Antimatter Chamber. How many times have you played it on your board?
Never, I think.
Yes, so I also like bought it. I think I got it once, but I didn't play it, and it's only because I took the diamond item from the resurrection event.
Yeah.
I understand Dam, right? Dam deletes small and medium items on both of the boards whenever it goes off. If you arrange your board correctly, you can get a lot of value from popping Dam. But Antimatter Chamber, first of all, has 10 seconds cooldown, and then it destroys 3 small items. So essentially, it trades itself for 3 small items. But then again, your opponent needs to have 3 small items. So essentially, Antimatter Chamber is useless against Pygmalion. So sometimes you can find actually 3 small items on Pygmalion's board. But like, yeah, that is one of the requirements for Antimatter Chamber to work. And then, like, you have to take into the consideration that those 3 small items probably triggered at least once during those 10 seconds. And I would assume that maybe even twice. You spend 10 seconds doing nothing, and then you essentially trade equally. So your net gain doesn't exist. You are at a net loss, essentially.
I don't understand why it's limited to small items if it has a 10-second cooldown and it only comes in diamond tier.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, either the cooldown needs to be like way shorter, or I don't know. Like, this item has no point. I think I played it one time just to play it.
I hope it
think
at
about
least has nice animation, but I have not seen it.
I think it just destroys, just the destroy animation.
The art is really cool, and I am curious what it looks like animated. So, you know, it hurts me inside that such a cool item from the artwork standpoint is wasted because its effect is useless. And there's no other way to put it. Like, this effect is useless, because if you analyze what would happen if you were to put it on your board, well, unless you can somehow haste it to no end, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's going to delete 3 small items, and it's not going to do anything besides that. It's not even going to give you 1 shield. I get worked up
Yeah.
talking about antimatter chamber.
I think it would be cooler if it was something more like what's the legendary item that deletes stuff, like Eye of the Colossus or something. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's too OP for this to be like that, to be exactly like that, but something in that regard where it's not just like a one-time use, takes up 3 slots on your board, you know?
You know,
So
I wouldn't mind if it was one-time use, if it gave you something else besides deleting 3 small items. Because, as I said, this item doesn't give you anything when it's used. Like, if it had, like, charge your all other items by 1 second and then it pops, then this would be a huge tempo swing 10 seconds in. So,
yeah, that would
yeah,
be pretty cool.
I would see see that as a positive, or maybe instead of charging every item, maybe charge 3 items or whatever. Like there's some leeway there, but as it is right now, there's no point in running it. Like you are going to lose 3 slots on your board, and that's basically it.
The enchantments on this are terrible too. Toxic poison 15, fiery burn 22.
God damn.
It's horrible. They haven't looked at this item yet. That's my guess right now. They haven't even looked at this item.
Yeah, probably. What else would you consider a bad item?
So this next item, I feel like you do about antimatter chamber. A lot of lost potential here. Forklift.
Ooh.
You know, forklift is like maybe the worst item in the game. And like I remember during one of the patch review type things that Reyna did, he literally looked at forklift and was like, "This is the worst item in the game." So it's bad. It's bad. And it has a long cooldown. It sort of acts like a bad version of the core, where stuff on the left of it affects it. Like every item to the left of it makes it deal 50 or 100 damage more, and then the items on the right of this get hasted whenever it goes off for 2 to 4 seconds. But it's got a 10-second cooldown. This is one of those items that doesn't really have a point. Like there's no reason this is good to have on your board.
Maybe there is some point, but there's no internal synergy. Things on the left give forklift damage, and things on the right get hasted when forklift is used. So I suppose there's like 2 modes that you want to play forklift, as in like it's either to the right of your board and then you assemble like the rest of your board to give damage to forklift, but then it's simply like bad crane. And then if you were to put it to the left to haste all your other items, then it's like bad solar panel, solar farm, right? So I don't see any like patterns where you could combine it with other items to get some interesting effects.
Yeah, and it's a vehicle, so it has synergy there potentially, but it just doesn't. It needs to be. It's another one of those items that needs to be reworked or extremely like retuned, because I want to be forklift certified, and we can't right now. Were those $100 I spent for the founder's pass worth it?
I mean,
Because I can't be forklift certified.
that is true. I definitely would like to see something more inspired on that item, because right now it's sort of like vanilla flavor. Like there's nothing really happening there, and I think forklift could be really flavorful item.
Yeah, before we recorded this, I was trying to think about what like this item could do that would feel super forklifty, but I couldn't. But I know it's there, and I want to see it so bad. I want to feel like I'm driving a forklift.
Maybe something like rivet gun for medium items, no, because you sort of move medium items with your forklift.
Oh, see. I don't know. I feel like they just put numbers on this item and then haven't looked at it
I mean,
in a
that's
while.
possible, but there are a lot of items in the Bazaar, so like we have to be sort of mindful of that I don't think any one human can like remember and memorize all the numbers and effects on all the items across all heroes.
And to be fair, then you don't only have the base items, but then you have to rework like the enchantments too. So it's pretty insane workloads, and they patch a lot every time. So hopefully hopefully we can become forklift certified before open beta.
Yeah,
that's my prayer.
Shadow Government is on the roll. Look out for the next patch. We have this. We have Reynat on quick call. That's not true. Right. And the last item that I would like to mention, I would like to honor to be part of this episode, is cybersecurity. And cybersecurity has been buffed actually recently. So it's not as terrible. Earlier, it was like flat 100 damage or something, and it just multiplied its damage if it was only friend on your board, something like that. And now it gets additional damage for each weapon or tech item that you have. Well, based on its tier, it multiplies its damage. So at silver it's 2, then at gold it's 3, and at diamond it's 4. If you have, let's say, cybersecurity on your board and a core, and then 6 small items that are either weapons or tech, and your cybersecurity is a diamond, you get around 2,200, 2,500 damage, somewhere around that number. So it's not terrible, and I guess you can scale it further with this multiplier. But to be fair, this 10-second cooldown always sort of pushed me away from trying it out. To be fair, cybersecurity feels a bit better than, for example, forklift or Lambos.
Yeah, it's playable. I haven't played it with the new patch, so I can't really talk about that. But before it, like, it kind of seems like sniper rifle for dually, but not good. I guess is kind of the vibe I get from it. Like long cooldown, has to be the only friend, which is being the only friend for dually is kind of hard too, because so many of his good items are friends.
Well, it's not necessary to run friends, you know, like there are builds that can easily run only one friend and be totally fine. But the fact that your whole board has to sort of dance around cybersecurity, and on top of that, if you do that, if you sort of invest in building your whole board, your whole engine around cybersecurity, then cybersecurity sort of has to be your main win con, and then doesn't really feel like it can pull you through the whole run. Like up to like day 7, day 10, it would probably be all right. It would probably be enough. But even if you were to find Pygmalion that doesn't really invest in health, but it's still fairly buff, then I don't think you can like punch through.
Yeah, I agree. I've not got much farther thoughts on Mr. Cybersecurity. He does look cool.
Yeah, he definitely does look cool. Like the art is, I'm not even sure how to describe it properly, but there's some sort of like punky vibe. Like he has some sort of mohawk, but not really. Like I'm not sure what those are on his head, but like I suppose that's what it's supposed to imitate. Robo Bouncer, that's what he is.
He's not a very friendly guy though, apparently. He doesn't like friends.
I suppose
But
you're
he is a
right.
But he is a friend. Maybe that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, I hope like that either I get better at the game and finally can use those items in meaningful ways, or it turns out that we are actually right and Tempo can actually improve them, maybe rework them and make more items actually viable instead of just set dressing.
Yeah. Dear faithful viewers, if you have ever played Forklift, please let us know. I'm curious if you've ever gotten like any wins with it, or if it's as garbage as it looks. I mean, I know it's not great, but have you ever made it work?
Yeah, I would like to know that as well. I mean, if you have any like cool stories regarding any of the items that we mentioned, maybe besides caltrops or crystal bonsai, because those are not as interesting as others. But like, yeah, Lambos, forklift, antimatter chamber, and cybersecurity, all of those items, if you decided to put them on your board, let us know. Let us know how it went. I suppose that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a sub, maybe comment, and we'll see you all on Thursday on Blake's channel. Bye!
See ya.
Oh, yes.
That's just my normal voice.